Hi, this is Jack Westman for ESEA.net, still here in London, England for ESL Pro League Season 3. Joining me this time is Heather sapphiRe Garozzo. I nearly said mum.
Garozzo.
But you're, of course, married to Volcano now.
Correct.
Who is one of the observers here at the event. Heather, how's London treating you so far?
London's been fantastic. It's been an incredible tournament. This is my first time in London. I'm just absolutely loving the city, and the venue's great too. It's small, it's intimate, it's nice as an observer that I'm not too far away from the players are, so when I want to take a quick break between maps, I can go see the crowd, see the matches, and Starbucks is just nearby. So that's, I was just telling someone that this is, out of all the venues I've been to, this is the closest Starbucks.
Okay, which clearly
this is very important.
Highly, yeah.
This is very important. And
okay, well, we said you're an observer. Some people may not know what an observer is, so can you tell us a little bit about the role you do and how it manifests itself as part of the broadcast?
Sure. So an observer, it's kind of this gray area between being part of the talent group, which is traditionally the casters,
sure,
and then the production staff. So I'm hired technically under talent, but I'm sitting side by side with production, and I'm the person, or an observer is the person that controls what the viewer would see during a match.
Okay.
So during a live tournament, we're never using something like Auto Director. We're always controlling and predicting the action. So it's up to the observer to understand what's going to happen and when, and present that to the audience. So really kind of your own producer in a way.
Tournaments did used to use Auto Director.
Correct.
Back when CSGO first came out. Why is this better?
Because this way, so Auto Director, to get Auto Director to work pretty decent, you have to have it on a delay. And when you have your Go TV on a delay, it actually does a decent job of showing you the kills, but it doesn't necessarily show you the most important kills or the most important information, especially when nothing's happening. It doesn't do a good job of showing the setups. So that's why you need an observer to be quick and get you to that action. And this way, when there's no delay on what's being shown, you have the casters and the players, and a lot of events like we're using here use webcams. All of this syncs up, and especially the crowd too. The crowd, they don't want to see the players cheering, and then they don't see what happens in the action until 30 seconds later because of the delay. So you want everything to sync up, and Auto Director without a delay would be absolutely useless.
Now, I know for a fact, because I've been backstage and I've seen you while you were changing through players, that you've got the radar on one screen, and the way you do it is you kind of figure out when players are turning corners and which other dots they're going to be looking at on the radar, and then kind of hit the number, right?
Exactly. So in an ideal world, I have at least 4 computers and monitors, if not more. Here we have 6. But the most important 2 are the computer where the action is happening. So that's what's going out to stream. That's what everyone sees. However, I'm mostly looking at a second monitor, which I open the large map on, and I'm watching dots on the map to understand when there's going to be contact points, when lines of sight between a CT and a T are happening, as well as just to look at an overview of setups to see how the CTs are playing their defense, or how a set smoke strat is lining up.
Have you ever had to observe a match on Nuke, for example?
I did.
Yeah.
So one match, and I just started observing last September, so a little less than a year, and Nuke was out of the map pool then. It got brought back in, well, it's officially starting to move back in now, but it was so rudely used at the major. Yeah. And I say that because I just haven't played it too much. And the issue with Nuke is there's so many different layers that it's very difficult to use that large radar, especially when it's not optimized, to understand contact points, lines of sight. And, I talked to some other casters. I believe I talked to Anders at the major, and I was kind of complaining about Nuke. And he's like, it used to be awful doing that. And even talking to old casters from way back in 1.6 and Source, and they really struggled with Nuke too. So it's even more difficult now for a map that the angles have changed. There's a lot of layers like catwalk outside and vents and lower, and it was very difficult. It was a disaster, and I'm gonna have to practice up real quick for my next event. But I'm hoping, I do have a long list of ideas I've been putting together for Valve, and I talked to Valve at the last major about different ideas I have for improving the observer experience, which in turn improves the viewer's experience.
Sure. And so what are some of your main complaints, I guess, in terms of maps, observing? What could Valve be doing to make your life easier, the game better?
Well, first off, I'll just start with the radar. That's the biggest issue. And you look at a map like Cache, which I'm very close to Cache because my husband Volcano made Cache, and FM Pone worked with him very closely to make a beautiful radar. If you open up the large map, it's very detailed. You understand exactly, when you see a dot on the map, you understand exactly where they are. However, you look at a map like Train, like I was just doing, and it's just big gray and black blocks.
Sure.
And for example, the last map I just observed here, like Scream likes to either go inner, likes to go T-con, but he can go either path and his dot would go in the same place because those places overlap. There's no, and not even about overlapping, but there's just no clear distinction there. And when CTs are flanking, for example, in T-con, and Ts are waiting at the top of the stairs, it looks like they're about to fight each other. So I'll quickly switch to that, but I might be missing some action on the other side of the map where there is a kill happening. So it's just very difficult to understand what's happening based on the radars. A few other things I have are ideas on how to better imply verticality on the radar to show when a player is, top layer, bottom layer, middle layer. Another thing is players like to boost a lot, especially on overpass. It's not my favorite map to observe, and that's why having a second observer is very important, because I can say for now, my observer is Rush, and I can say, Rush, who's boosted quickly, and he can tell me on his spare computer, because there's no order to, each of the dots has a number on it, 1 through 0. And if the dots are boosted, you don't see, say everyone's alive, and 4 is on top of 5, there's no order to show whether 4 should show on the radar or 5 should show on the radar.
Right, okay.
So if I'm by myself, and some events I have to quickly do a process of deduction on the map. Say, okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then it must be 5 that's on the top because I haven't found him. And that's why sometimes there's some awkward clicking around, especially if I don't have a secondary observer with me. So those are some of the most important things that I'd like to see changed.
You mentioned, so you've been observing a lot of maps here at this tournament. Do you think is, which of the observations you've been proudest of? Which are the best matches you've cast, do you think?
I'd have to say yesterday, the Fnatic match in G2, and I'm probably most proud of the Dennis pistol round ace.
Oh, sure.
And that's because, there were lines of sight elsewhere on the map that there could have possibly been contact.
Yeah.
But this is what helps us. Knowing the players and knowing who their aggressive players are, or knowing where they excel most, helps an observer to be better. And I always know in pistol round, I'm going to focus on a player like Dennis, regardless of what happens on the rest of the map. If Dennis is going to make contact with another player, I'm going to focus on him. So that was a really exciting run, and a lot of these rounds, it almost feels like I got the frags myself, because I get so excited as well. And when I miss something too, sometimes Reddit posts will come up and say, observer sucks, they missed this. I can assure you, I feel that pain just as much, if not more, if I let someone down and I miss something. So big rounds are really, really important to me. I get super excited. I'm standing up, I'm cheering while I'm clicking numbers. So that one was certainly exciting for me.
Yeah, well, I think people are very glad that you caught that one. And I think most of the feedback you seem to get, just based on what I've seen, is positive, right?
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of times issues happen that are fortunately out of the observer's control, but because we are the ones perceived as to be guiding the action 100% of the time, a lot of those issues get blamed on us. I'll give an example. I mentioned before, I ideally want 4 computers, and I told you what 2 of them are.
Yeah.
Another one is having what we call a program feed. So I know exactly what's going out to stream.
Sure.
Because if I have multiple computers here, and we always want a 4th computer, which is a backup, because if CSGO crashes, if there's a BSOD, something like that, we want to be able to quickly switch to that secondary computer so the viewers don't lose the action. So back to what I was saying about the program feed, I want to know what's going out to stream. And for example, if I'm at an event and we do like one-on-ones, we're going to bring up a scene, or a producer will bring up a scene to show both views. Sometimes after that one ends and the next round starts, the wrong computer will go out to feed.
Okay.
And if we don't have a program feed, I don't know otherwise what's being shown. So for example, like the other day, the Kusta 3K on Dust 2 that happened. I saw a few posts on Reddit like, Observer sucks, blah, blah, blah. Observer didn't suck. I really did get those kills. The problem is the wrong computer went out to stream, and I didn't realize until later. So hopefully we smoothed out those issues, made sure I had a program feed immediately after that. And
it sounds like a very complex, you're making it sound like a very complex task. And of course, you are a player as well. You are a world champion player. I think we should probably brag, right? You won Electronic Sports World Cup 2013?
Correct. 2012. Their women's tournament, and then in 2014 finished second.
Yeah.
2015 finished third. So I went the other way that I like to, but yes, yeah, it did.
Okay. Well, I mean, is it a simpler life as a player? Which do you prefer?
I certainly miss competing.
Yeah.
I played in a few women's events, but more events I played in just mixed or against anyone. I come to tournaments like this, and this is not an open tournament, but I certainly I miss the feel of competition. I'm so passionate about it. I've been playing for almost since 1999. Played in like 200 tournaments. I just miss that drive of playing, that feeling of winning. So I miss that. However, observing is nice because while I certainly do practice it, and a lot of people might be familiar with my stream. I stream a lot of online pro, premier, amateur matches. It's nice because it does take less time than practice. To be a good player, you need to put in well over 40 hours, I believe, a week.
Absolutely.
So while I study observing, I don't feel like I need to put as much into it. And I get to travel to these events and not have to pay my own way all the time. It's it's a guaranteed paycheck too, instead of having to make your way through a 60-team tournament or something like that.
A little less pressure as well, right?
Less less pressure. I won't lie, I do get, I guess, nervous in a way. Especially at things like the major when there's millions of people watching.
Oh yeah.
And it's on me to make sure they have a good experience. So I get nervous. I love them both, but I'm certainly enjoying observing right now, and I'm anyone that knows me knows how passionate I am about this, and it just means the world to me.
Yeah, I can vouch for that as well. So are we going to see you at ESWC this year? Are you going to be back in the server as opposed to...
Yeah, no, I haven't been playing. I've been on the road so much since January, and I have a few more events lined up this summer. I'll be at E-League in Atlanta. I won't be doing the full 10 weeks, but I'll be off and on every couple weeks.
Sure.
Doing that. I'd love to do the major in Cologne, but nothing's set in stone for that yet.
Yeah.
So I'm really busy with this, but I love doing it.
All right, Heather, just one or two more questions before
Sure.
I let you go, because I think you should probably be doing something on the
There's a match
stream.
going on right now.
There is a match. Prediction for this final? I mean, I think we're currently 1-1, right? This is the third match.
We are 1. Yeah. Yep.
So hopefully this interview will go out before the match finishes.
Sure.
Who do you like best, the G2 or Luminosity?
I want to say Luminosity. I guess I don't know the map, so I can't really make a prediction on the maps.
Yeah.
Coming into this in the the shuttle this morning, I said 3-1 Luminosity. I thought G2 is in the best form I've seen these players in a long time. Shox is back. He's playing incredible right now. So I was leaning Luminosity. I'm going to go all 5 maps, though, for Luminosity, because G2 is giving them hell right now.
Already, but Luminosity to win 3-2 in the end.
3-2, but I think G2 is going to keep it close.
All right. Heather, thank you very much.
Thank
Always
you.
good to talk to you. Do you want to do, like, friends, family, shout-outs, or any final words?
I'll give a shout-out to my co-observers.
Yes.
So my observer here is Rush. He's fantastic. Another observer I work with very frequently is Prius. They are great guys. And Kevin, all great observers. They really work hard. We really care deeply about this, and shout out to them for being great co-observers.
Cool, absolutely, and thank you very much again.
You're welcome.
For everyone at ESEA.net, stay tuned for more coverage here in London, England.